My account was hacked. I was not notified. Fraud did not talk to me. I am here more than 10 days past the day that my account was hacked. I have no money. They will not tell me when my money will come. They told me it would be in the form of a check, again, coming through the mail, instead of spending the money for additional payment for postage to either have it overnighted or allowing me into the bank to get a check so that I can continue on with life. They have stopped all of that. So my advice is to not bank with them. Well, I banked with SunTrust Bank here in Port Orange, Florida since August of 2019. On July the 3rd, I went to the store and used my SunTrust card to make a purchase. My card was declined 2 times. I just got my paycheck that day, knowing I had plenty enough money in there for the purchase, was not understanding why the card was declined. So I left the store, I came home, I looked on my mobile app. There was a bunch of transactions on there that were pending. Going through those transactions, they all looked like my legitimate transactions, and again, not understanding why they were pending. So I called the customer service line and got the automated system. Knowing who I was through the automated system because of my phone number, the automated system just told me that my card was on hold. Not understanding why, and it being so late, I wasn't able to talk to an actual person. So that July 4th, I called again to customer service. It being the holiday, there was nobody available that day. On Monday, July 6th, I called customer service again at 8 a.m. and I spoke to a girl by the name of Quinta. She says to me, yes, your card is on hold. Let's go through these transactions and lift this hold. So as she goes through the transactions, most of them were yes, they were my transactions. And then she got to some transactions that were very random amounts for off gamers. I told her those were not my transactions. And then she went to another one worth $2,500, which again, not my transaction. So with that being said, she contacted fraud. It took quite a while. She gets back to me about 20 minutes later. I was on hold the whole time. She tells me that she spoke to fraud and that fraud had closed my account. Fraud would not talk to me, but relayed to her that my account was being closed and that I was notified by fraud on July 2nd. I told her I was never notified by fraud. She says, well, they have it documented here on your account that they contacted you July 2nd. I said to her, well, what number did they contact me at? And she said, well, I can't give you that information, but if you tell me the phone numbers you have, I can confirm or deny if that was the number. So I tell her my cell phone number, and she says, yes, that is the number. They have noted that they contacted you on July 2nd. And I said, well, that's not true, because if they did contact me on July 2nd, why would I be at the store on July 3rd trying to make a purchase knowing that my card was put on hold? So they did not contact me. So then she relays to me that they told her, they meaning fraud, that they are taking my money, putting it into a check, putting it into a quote unquote package, and mailing my check and a letter referencing this, and I need to wait for that. Well, she couldn't tell me if it was mailed, when it would be mailed, why it was mailed, because I questioned, why wouldn't they just overnight it? Or, I mean, if this is a check, why would they, put it in the mail? So again, I asked to talk to fraud, and she says they don't want to talk to you, that they gave me the information to relay to you. So at that point in time, I was done. There was nothing this girl could help me with any further. So I then called the branch office that I dealt with the next day, and I spoke to a teller, and she informed me that yes, in fact, my account was closed per fraud. And I said to her, well, why could they not just open me another account so I have access to money? This is my only form of livelihood. She said, all it is that your account was closed. So I said, so when I get this package, I can, come back into the bank and open another account or what? She says, no, they severed their ties with you. And I said, well, what do you mean? And she says, you are no longer allowed to be a customer at our bank. And I said, because my account was hacked, I'm the victim here, and I am now not allowed to be a customer at your bank, and fraud will not talk to me. And she says, that's the only information I can give to you. And I went on to say, well, I have, all my bills come out of this account. They're all automatically deducted. I have a rent check that is out there. What am I supposed to do? And she says, well, there will be no money coming out of this account. And I said, well, what about my bills? And she tells me to borrow money from people. Well, what kind of reply is that? That's very offensive and insulting. I mean, this is my money. I know I have money. Why can't I come into the bank and you issue me a check so I can go to somewhere else? So I was talking to the teller, and that's when she told me that my ties were severed. I brought up to her about why can't I just come in there and get my check? And she says that that's not possible. So, okay, again, now I'm very, very aggravated and frustrated. I then do my review online for their website with my very much concerned for why I'm being treated like this and nobody's talking to me. I have no money. So that Thursday, I then contacted the bank again and wanted to speak to a branch manager. So I speak to Karen Cameron, who is one of the branch managers for SunTrust. She was unaware of my whole situation, but when she looked at my account, she did in fact see that it was closed with no further information. So Karen Cameron tells me that she is going to make some phone calls and look into this and have an answer for me in 10 minutes. We ended our call at 12:13 p.m. on that Thursday. 10 minutes goes by, I never heard from her. So I'm currently in training, so I didn't try calling back until after 3 o'clock. 3:22 p.m. I tried calling, 3:25 p.m., 4:07 I tried calling. She calls me back at 4:22 that day and tells me that she was unable to get any information and that the only information that she had was my account, and my ties were severed because when I opened my account at SunTrust, I signed a piece of paper that stated that my relationship with them could be severed at any time. And I said, well, that's all fine and good if it was me that violated or did something against my account. I said, but I am the victim and I'm getting punished and penalized. I have no money. I have nothing. And because I signed this paper, again, I understood if I did something. But seeing as my account was hacked and I had no control over that, I feel I should not be punished for that. So she says, that's all the information I can give you. And I asked for the president's name and number. The president's name is Kelly King, and he resides in North Carolina. She says she does not have a phone number for him, but she gave me his email address. So we end our call. I compose an email and try to send it to him. Well, apparently he does not take emails from somebody of my class or, so I could not send the email. So needless to say, I was very upset with that I could not go any higher than a branch manager. So I then, that next day, Friday, I called customer service again, because at this point in time, I was contacted by PIS Consumer about my review that I wrote. And it was to put them on notice with my review number that this was out there on social media and, all that information. So that's what I did. I contacted them and I advised them that I myself also posted something, which is my story, on Facebook, and I shared it throughout the Port Orange community groups that I belong to. So I again reiterated to them that this is out there. And she asked me, do you want somebody to call you? And I said, absolutely. I've been requesting a call from somebody higher than a bank manager, somebody with some authority to give me some answers. And I specifically stated no phone calls until after 4, as I'm in class until that time. So that information was taken. I asked again about when my package was mailed. She could not give me any answers, when I would get it or whatever. There were no answers once again. So this past Monday, I get a phone call at 9:20 a.m. I am now in class. So at 9:20 a.m., I have a phone call from Veronica from SunTrust. She leaves me a message that she's calling about, my review and my situation with the bank, and to call her back. So I made several attempts to call her back at the end of my training day, to no avail. So, and on those messages I left again, I specifically asked for a phone call after 4. You called me at 9:20 when I specifically stated I am not available to talk to you. So Tuesday, I get another call at 4 o'clock, right on the dot, from Ezra Pierce. He works for the review committee, the online reviews for SunTrust, and was asking me what he can do for me to get my review down because it's getting black marks. And I said, there's nothing except for give me my money. And he says, I made 2 attempts to contact and reach out to the people that have your case because it's supposed to be pending. And they're saying, because it's still under the initial investigation, they cannot reveal any information to me. So they denied him 2 times any information that he can then help me with. So I said to him, then why are you calling me? And he says, because we want you to get your review off. We want to make this right. I said, give me my money. He says, I can't help you. He says, I will try to get in touch with my manager. I'll push this forward to him. Maybe he can help and assist and we can get you an answer. And I said, who was it that denied you any information? And he said, it's our review team. And I said, is that like an upper management team? And he says, yes, it's the review team. And I said, well, this is insane. I'm a single mother. I have 2 boys here. I have no money. You guys have completely interrupted my livelihood. I have checks bouncing. I have, bills not being paid. I'm being told I may be liable for all these fees and additional charges because this is linked to my bank account that is now closed. And I am so frantically trying to contact everybody not to pull any money out to alleviate any further negative action towards me with additional payments. He says, there's nothing I can do for you. He says, give me 48 hours. Let me talk to my manager and see what I can do. Well, needless to say, I never heard back from him. The policy, from my understanding there, is they have an investigation open for 10 days. And within that 10 days, I should be notified of something. Well, we are way past the 10-day mark. I still do not have my money. So when I talked to him that day, I did inform him that I was, again, contacted by PIS Consumer and that I was doing this live interview with you folks today. So he wanted to know what he can do to stop it. And I said, well, seeing as you cannot help me, there is nothing you can do to stop it. I told him I'm filing a complaint with the BBB, with the OCC, and the FDIC. So again, still no resolution, still no money, still nothing. I'm a single mom living with 2 boys that has absolutely no access to money and no idea when I'm going to get my money or what, I did go and open an account at Space Coast Credit Union with the little bit of money I had just because I needed somewhere for my direct deposit for work to go. Well, seeing as that happened on Monday and they didn't have enough time to reroute my check, I don't even have my work check that I should have had yesterday because they're going to have to send it to me paper form, which is another 7 to 10 days. So I have never, ever been treated so poorly And I am a victim, and the treatment is just very overwhelming and very stressful. I'm in Florida by myself. My family is all in Pennsylvania. My parents are in Arizona. I have nobody here that is close enough to assist, with these payments. I mean, I have had some families send the money in on certain bills, but there's still a lot that is out there that I am now behind on because of this.
What is the best solution for you?
I want them to rewrite their policy on how they handle a victim. And fraud needs to talk to the victim. I mean, for fraud not to have any contact with me is absurd. To explain to me and keep me abreast of what's going on. Fraud has made no contact with me. Fraud will not talk to me about any of this, which makes me feel like a bigger victim, like I've done something wrong, and I've done nothing wrong. I have never bounced a check through that bank. I have never overdrawn through that bank. I have been a good customer for that bank, and I am now being punished because of somebody hacking into my account. They're in the process of merging with BB&T, so their new name is going to be Truist. Maybe change the name of the bank, because as SunTrust, you're definitely not trustworthy, and with Truist, there's nothing true about you at all, because you treating your customers like this is unheard of. It's stressful, it's degrading, it's embarrassing. They have really, really put my life upside down. So re-look at policy and procedure and how further incidents like this are handled so that the customer feels like they are valued, because I definitely do not feel valued. And for them just to cut ties with me without even completing a 10-day investigation, like their policy says, is disgusting. It's disgusting. And for them to comment on my account that they contacted me is a lie. That's false documentation. So, in my opinion, that's criminal.
Do you have some message for the future customers of SunTrust?
My message to future customers of SunTrust is to look for another bank. Look further, or if you still choose to bank with them, make certain you read everything and understand that piece of paper, that it doesn't matter if you're a reasonable person or not, whether it's your fault or not, they're going to sever their ties. Because in my situation, I did nothing wrong. I am the victim, and they severed ties and didn't even tell me that much. I had to call in and had to be told by a teller that it was because I signed this piece of paper that, again, unbeknownst to me, was more of a, well, yeah, of course, if I'm the one at fault. I was not at fault.